What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode something like 3 or something of the Coach Ruiz, Mr. Carlton, Let's Have the Conversation podcast. Excited to have you all here. Hopefully y'all listen to the first couple episodes because, man, it's been a ride getting here. Carlton, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy day. I'm recovering from a surgery that I had a week and a half ago, and
Yep.
I'm in a lot of pain right now. But
Oh,
I
man.
have to, yeah, because I can't take the medicine and function and do this, so I'm gonna take it directly after the sacrifice for this.
Man, you got the soldier serum in you now, like you're Captain America now. Like, good luck with recovery.
Got
I'll
the
take
show
the
must
next
go
dose.
on.
Cool, man. Should I kick us off with the quote of the week?
Yes, you should.
All right. So, as many of our listeners might know, I am a talent acquisition manager for my company, and what Carlton and I do. Well, no, actually, you don't do it, Carlton. I do it. What I do is I interview a lot of people, dozens of people, sometimes a week. And one of the people that I interviewed this week, they were, top-notch candidate that I want to reach out to, and some of the stuff that I asked them, is relevant to how they would kind of engage the work that we do at my company, right? And my company, we do some creative work, some digital marketing for some really awesome clients at a global level, really. And this candidate said about his work, he said, "If it sucks, it sucks. How do I make it better?" And it was so simple. It was almost off. It was pretty much off the cuff. But I think that my big takeaway was that this individual came through in this virtual interview as humble as like, hey, like, because he had really good. I mean, he had a top notch portfolio and resume, and he just kind of came through as like, my work might suck, but if it sucks, how do I make it better? And I think that's a really good mindset to have nowadays, whether you're a creative, an intern, a CEO, whoever. Some of the stuff you do might not be that great. So I think looking for improvement is a good place to look. So yeah, that's the quote for the day. If it sucks, it sucks. How do I make it better?
I like that because that also is a good level of self-awareness.
True.
And it's also a good. I like how he knows that he's not perfect because something is going to suck at some point. But if you focus on how to make it better, I think that's a really good
100%.
perspective.
100%.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We are now going to move into our monthly challenge. So I'll go first. I shared in our last episode that this month of February, I'm going to be focusing on spiritual and mental health. So my surgery kind of knocked me off my feet. It was an outpatient. Like I was in and out the same day.
Yeah.
Was
Same
not
day.
prepared
Drive through.
for the
Get your order. Get in and out. I get it.
basically. I wasn't prepared for the amount of pain that would throw me off. So I wasn't
Yeah.
able to work out, and I wasn't able to do the thing spiritually as consistently as I wanted to as it pertains to like praying and reading the word. But come the beginning of next week,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will be ready. On Monday, I am going to be ready. I have a workout. My workout plan is ready in my phone, and I'm gonna be back into the swing of things.
I love
And
it.
I'm also like approaching this as from two perspectives. One, I don't like working out, which is why I don't have a personal trainer because I used to have one, and the idea of someone, being rough with me and talk like, and I get it because some people like that motivation where they cuss you out.
Why
and,
does it have to be rough?
Give me 10 more. You
Why does it
weak,
have to
do
be
more.
rough?
And I don't like that type of, because if I'm paying you, you don't get to cuss me out. While I'm
You don't
working
get to
out.
cuss. Oh man,
Like you don't get to
You would
like
not let me.
yell.
We would not be able to work out together, Carlton.
Yeah,
I am a
right.
completely different
So
person in the gym.
what I need my trainers to do is just to say less and just tell me how many reps I need to do in the position. I don't need you talk. Now, if you want to encourage me and say, bro, you got this, like, keep going, that's different. But I've never
Words
had a
of
trainer like
affirmation are
that.
good. I love it. That's great.
Right. But not like boot camp style.
Yeah.
That's why I can't do a boot camp because baby yelling,
That's what.
screaming.
Yep.
I don't.
No, I get that.
So
I'm the boot
I,
camper.
so my perspective is take it one workout at a time and understand that this is a lifestyle change. So even when I get to my goal size and weight, I
Yeah.
still want to be
Yeah.
working
You
out
got to
4 to 5
maintain.
times a week. So that is what I'm going to be. That's my update. What's your update on yours?
Well, um, I don't know if I talked about it in the first episode, the second one, but I had a little back kind of. I think I just sprained my back, pulled it a little bit in the lower back. I donated bone marrow a few years ago, so I'm a little bit different when it comes to the amount of weight I can lift. I think I sprained that area where they took out the bone marrow from. But I've bounced back, and this week was amazing. I'm not trying to rub it in, but it was amazing. I felt strong. I think I lost a little bit of weight
There you
this
go.
week, and I brought some. When I go to, some people go to Costco, other people go to this. I go to Costco. It's
I
like my
love
little
Costco. I went there
sanctuary during
today.
COVID. And I would always buy cruddy snacks like gummies and chocolates because I'm a grown man. Do whatever the hell I want. Like I'm gonna eat candy if I want, but this challenge is forcing me to kind of make better decisions with my life. So I brought some more healthier snacks, like less crazy snacks. I bought some protein balls, kind of that you can make with a mix, and it's been really good. It's been kind of crushing the craving for more sweets. So yeah, I crushed the weights this week. I felt really good. Now I got to work on my cardio. I got to kind of focus on that cardio. But yeah, so far so good. And if it feels a little bit different. Like my body feel like I was running with my kid today. I ran for 2 hours around the circles like with him. Like it was crazy. And I feel fine. A couple weeks ago, a month ago, I'd feel lethargic right now. So yeah, going well so far.
So it's so funny you say all this. One more update. I I think I'm going to document my weight loss. I
Yeah, I mean,
think. I
yeah.
think.
I would
I think
encourage
I
you
need
to.
that. I think I need that extra accountability because if I know I have to post where I'm at,
Yeah,
see, I'm not gonna look
yeah,
stupid on social media.
yeah, yeah,
I'm thinking about like just doing a weekly update on my
yeah. For
Instagram.
yourself, just for your do it for yourself. Like you don't
Well,
even gotta
because
do it
then
for
cause there's
anybody.
other people. I see all of these. I follow a lot of fitness people. I follow a lot of
Yeah,
guys who were overweight and then they
yeah,
worked out and now they're healthier lifestyle because just
yeah.
my timeline or my Instagram feed is positivity. I follow a lot of
Hundred
positive
percent.
people
I know.
and a
That's
lot
why
of
you follow
positive
me. I
quotes.
know. I get it.
I don't follow
You don't.
you. No, I'm
Dude,
joking. I
stop it.
do.
Stop it.
So I'm thinking about that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm thinking about doing that, but
Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
good. I don't post about my weight. I don't post. I just want to make sure I can physically like run, carry the kids. I tell people comically like I just want to be able to be put into like a D2 collegiate football game as a running back and like do well. That's the shape
Yeah,
I want to be in.
there you go.
That's
All
it.
right, we're gonna take a quick break.
Let's do it. And we're back. Awesome. So we like to share about kind of what are we thinking, what's on our mind, and right now, what I'm thinking about is, and I'm not trying to hijack your part, but it's just a book and that I'm reading. It's right here. It's called Do Big Things, and I've been really kind of my boss gave it to me. I don't know if my boss is trying to make me do big things or if he is like telling me like, dude, you need to do bigger things. I don't know. I'll take it as a positive. He knows what I like, so he gifted it to me for Christmas. Shout out Scott Thompson. And so far, it's really a really good breakdown of how you engage as an individual onto the team, and it's been really good for me. And I've been thinking about it a lot, uh, helping me have the things they talk about is like having massive impact with the team, so that you can help kind of continue to foster the culture you want to foster at your company. And yeah, what that's on my mind, and I think that not only this book but books in general help people learn from others that have been there before, other people's experiences, and it's a really good one. So if you all have thoughts in the comments or whatever about this book or another book that you might like, throw them in there. We'd love to see what you all are reading and thinking. But that's what I'm thinking about: is how can I have a massive impact at my company, with my family, with Carlton, from states, being states away, so that we can be better. So there you go. That's what I'm thinking about.
What has gotten you to this point?
What was that?
What has gotten you to this point? Because that's a really big thing to grapple with.
Yeah, I mean, I think this book specifically, being able to like, sometimes people think that books can change your life and things like that. I don't want to say this book is changing my life yet, but I think reading this book at this point in my life makes a lot of sense for me. If I would have read this book 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, it's a cool leadership book. But being able to have a retrospective, like look back into my life and think about how I impact, oh man. I posted about on LinkedIn the other day, to the listeners, add me on LinkedIn if you want to connect. I was thinking, about feedback and how, at the beginning of my career, if Carlton, if you would have been my boss, if you would have managed me and been my boss, and you would have given me some feedback about like, hey Enrique, like, can you work on like, I would have been like, F you, man. Like, we don't know me. I work hard. And wow, I've come a long way. And now today, like, I really appreciate the feedback. I really like, I kind of like am more curious, and like, I love it when people want to give me feedback, because I kind of know myself. Like, I know the trouble I'm trying to cause, and I know the good that I'm trying to do. And it's good because I think in my post I wrote something about like having like when people give you feedback, it's someone like signaling you. Like, they're trying to signal you, hey, you are having an impact in this kind of way. And this book is helping me really kind of feel and understand how Enrique has an impact individually for the whole team, for the company. And then it kind of gives you, different ideas and perspectives on like when people stop having that impact. And like, they use the word decay, which is, I think, perfect. Like, when the teammates, that coworker that's on the meeting. I mean, right now it's virtual, but like, that coworker at the office that stops being as engaged in meetings, that coworker that isn't as amped up about the work, or
Oh yeah, I've been that coworker.
yeah, me too. Same, absolutely me, right? Like, and usually Enrique and Carlton, we're like the hype people, right? We're the hype,
Yeah.
but we stop being the hype. You're like, uh-oh. So they use the word decay in the book to describe that kind of happening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yes, it is a form of decay. So they try to make sure that you can think about the impact and the influence you're able to have at like individually, so that you could impact the whole. And I wouldn't have been able to read this book like a while, like, years ago. And it's just a lot of I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking like, man, how can I have an impact today? Who can I like an impact to think about, not only the company I work for, but like the people I get to interview. I'll tell you a quick story. I had there's a website called Glassdoor, right?
Yes.
You know how Glassdoor works.
I do.
People
I'm a recruiter
go
too.
and they review you, and like they talk smack about your company. Mostly people will be like, "Rah, rah," and this is some qualm with like your company. So somebody gave a review, and it was like, oh, it was all good. And then they didn't say my name, but then the recruiter, he ghosted me. And right now at my company, it's only a gal, a woman who identifies as a woman, and me. I am the only he. So I'm like, oh, that's me. So I was able to deduce from how they wrote who it was because of the timing and things like that. So I called the candidate. I was like, hey, well, first I talked to the manager. Hey, what do you want? Let's figure this out. And the manager was like, yeah, like, let's figure it out. And they wanted to talk again. Long story short, called the candidate. I said, listen, I am so sorry. Like, there's been a lot going on in my life, like, and there was, like, my dad got hit by a car. My mom went to the freaking urgent care. Like, there was a scare for my kids' preschool. One of the kids got COVID. My kids didn't, but it's still like this shocker thing. And the person was like, okay, yeah, like that's a big bummer. So basically, they kind of got back into the process and was happy with like me being able to just call them back. To bring it full circle, that candidate wasn't selected as the final candidate to get the job offer. So I called him and I said, listen, they're moving in a different direction with a different candidate. And the candidate texts me like, hey, like, thank you for calling me. Like, I appreciate the call. You know, I like screenshotted it. Thank you. That's a win. Maybe they don't take the post down or whatever, but you just gotta you gotta know, like, for me, I just want to be I want to be better at my craft. And it, like, Glassdoor is one of those temperature checks that you're like, oh no, there's somebody that had an experience with me that wasn't good. So, and if I would have gotten that review like 5 years ago, I would have gone off on the Glassdoor. I would have like respond. But yeah, man, it's I think how I have an impact, I've been really trying to process because the impact that when I have good strategic impact, holy moly, man, like it's powerful. I change lives, and that's something that's like to be able to harness that privilege is I'm learning still how to do it, and it's a neat thing and a lot of trust and things that go into it from the managers to the candidates that you work with, like we're going through a pandemic and I get to change people's life trajectory. They were going this way with this company, they're going over here with us. That's a lot of, I get stressed about it in a good way. It's a good burden. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
I appreciate you sharing that and talking about impact. And it's funny you say that because I'm in a really odd place when it comes to being an employee. My focus has two companies ago. My focus, you would have thought I created that company. You would have thought I was the owner, the operator. You would have thought that company was my company because I was so invested about making an impact there.
I
And what
love
I
it.
realized towards the end of my time there, that I was replaceable and
Oh,
they didn't owe me anything and I didn't owe them anything. And that was a hard lesson because I had an emotional attachment to that company for various reasons. I was there for like almost 10 years. But what I
wow.
realized is that I want to make impact. I want to make impact in a way that is a part of who I am. And you spoke about this already, but like I want to make an impact in everything I do, um, but not necessarily attached to a company. And I think I'm trying to
Yeah.
make sure I'm not being negative in life because right now my attitude about being an employee is that I just told one of my friends today who was having a situation with work and I was basically just like, your job has to serve you. And that's not the mentality that we have going into the
Yeah.
workplace. It's mostly about serving the job. But the employee and employer relationship has to be mutually beneficial. And guess what happens
Today. Yeah.
when the employer doesn't see benefit in you being their employee, they let you go. So you
Yeah.
have to be served by them as well. And that service comes more than just a paycheck. Like I have to be served in other ways as an employee
Yeah, but
because you want me to perform. And
but
that's the
what did
thing
you say?
where
That's like a newer
it is.
corporate feeling thing. Like now people are like, uh-uh. Like if you don't value and serve me, then I could go work somewhere else. I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day that like a screenshot of some guy that he like keeps track of his competitors, and whenever his competitors post on social media like we're headed back to the office, right? He's like to his recruiters, he's like, "Hey recruiters, target their people." And they've hired like 20 people from their competitors because they're going back to the office. Because the company's like, well, whatever. They're employees. They're gonna come back. Like, and it's like, nah, man. Like, people don't want to come back anymore. Like, people want to have a
Yeah.
flexible schedule with the hybrid
What
situation.
you have to be served as an like to me
Right, right,
and
right. So this
and
guy's
like you
like
said,
taking advantage of that. Like, oh, they're not gonna evolve with the times. Yo, recruiters, go get them. And
yeah,
they swipe people. I'm like, that's genius. That's like that's gangster move in recruiting.
it is. And I think that's the thing that is a new wave. Because here's the thing, if that we're used to like the market shifting, typically there's an employee market or
Hmm.
there's an employer market. Right now
Yeah,
we're in an employee market, but here's the thing,
yeah.
the mindset isn't going to shift. So even if there becomes an employer market, which implies that there are less jobs, so there's more competition, so you take what you get. No, people are like, you got to serve me too. But
Right.
going back to like the topic of impact, I need my job to serve me in a way where I can be impactful outside of work and the other things that I'm doing. I can't be depleted when I leave work, where I have nothing else to
100%.
give to my wife, my child,
100%.
my schooling. I'm in school right now. Um,
Yeah.
Everything I'm trying to do, it has to serve me as well. Where my mindset before was I have to serve this place that I don't own and that will let me go at any point. I have
Yeah.
to serve them and give them my all and work 80 hours a week and just be happy with this little paycheck. Nope, no more. I have to make impact outside of work. So I just want to share my thoughts about being impactful. And once you're done with the book, it can be the book club, the book of the month for March. So get done reading that book.
Now
Um,
I gotta read
I'm
faster.
going to go ahead and move us
Cool.
along. We're going to take another quick break. All right, we are back. It is my turn to talk about what was reading in the press. I like to read.
Ooh.
I like to read Forbes a lot.
What
So
is Forbes? I don't know what that is.
Forbes, like, oh, okay, bro. I wasn't even looking at you. I was looking at my article. I was like, I know this cannot be the truth. So I am going to put it up. So there is this article on the Forbes website. It's talking about three considerations. The title of the article is Three Considerations for Employees Navigating Toxic Workplace Cultures. So
Boom. Mm-hmm.
that hit you strong. I know.
Hit me with it. Ugh.
Um,
I got PTSD. Hold up.
and the so here's the thing. One, there's three. It's a good article, but the three main points, and it's on Forbes. I'll link it, but it is the three things this author says. One, document your experience, speak up, and encourage continued education. So here's the thing about this article that this topic about navigating workplace culture, a negative workplace culture. And the thing that I think is really interesting is I like this article because I struggle with it. So on one hand, I'm like,
Mm.
yes, if you want to make your workplace a better place for everyone, including yourself, you should do these things. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, should you carry that weight or fall on that sword to make the workplace better? And there's also like politics, right? Because to me, if there's a negative workplace culture, there's probably a very political culture attached to that. So how do you navigate that part as well? And the only thing I do agree with documenting your experiences, and I do agree with the whole idea of encouraging education around how we can work better together and being a positive force in that movement. The part of the article that I struggle with is speaking up,
Yeah. Yeah. That's hard.
because that can turn retaliatory. And the thing that I am at in my career, the company that I just talked about that I was really emotionally tied to,
Mm-hmm.
not only me, but there were people at that company that I saw. We were falling on swords left and right.
Yeah.
And when I left that company after 10 years, you can, I was depleted. I did not leave on
Yeah.
good terms for me. I quit abruptly. I was like, I'm done. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. I ain't got a job lined up. Bye.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
um, and I think that's the thing that I'm nervous about with people, because today, how I am today, I don't fall on swords professionally
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I have too much at risk. See, back then, I started that job when I was 23, and it was just me,
Right.
so I could, play Russian roulette with my
Yeah.
career.
You got.
Now
You
I
got.
have a
You got
child.
responsibilities.
I
Yeah.
got bills. We got car notes. We got all kind of bills, and so for
Car
me,
notes.
this like I don't speak. So for me, this is not what the article's saying, but for me,
Yeah.
speaking up is a form of falling on the sword. You are putting yourself out there, and
Yeah.
you are speaking truth to power, which I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
agree with in certain environments. And I also struggle with the idea of, it's like if you see something, say something, but do you,
Yeah.
if you say something, are you putting yourself at risk of retaliatory behavior from
Yeah.
whoever? So that's something that this article has
Mm.
really got me thinking. It's really some good stuff in here. And I really appreciate the perspective. And I agree with all of it. I'm just at a weird place right now where
Yeah.
my job provides me two things. I love what I make. I make really good money for what I do. And I have time. Those are the
Yeah.
two things that I
Yeah. Yeah.
need from my job. That's what my job does to serve me. My time, I get a lot of my time back. I don't work past 4 o'clock. I don't work on weekends. My boss is amazing. She's all about work-life balance.
Yeah.
And she's very encouraging, very direct, and very helpful. And the thing I love about her is that she doesn't bother me. Like she partners with me. So that's how my job
Yeah.
serves me. But I'm not here to fall on swords, because my job isn't
Mm.
my identity. I'm here to do, I love what I do at my job,
Yeah.
but I don't identify with that.
It doesn't
It,
define you. Like
it
it's
doesn't
not.
define me. It's not
Yeah.
my identity. So I'm not here to fall on swords in the way that I used to at my former job a couple of careers ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a great, I mean, that's a great article to just kind of have out in the ether just because, I mean, Forbes just doesn't publish anything, you know? I think that now more than ever, people are realizing, like, I don't think people realize that they had a sword to fall on, you know, before all the crazy stuff these last couple of years. And I think these last 4 years have really been kind of DEI, diverse, equity kind of focused, and I think it's awesome. But I think now more than ever, people are realizing that, the I feel like whenever I hear toxic work environment or toxic workplace, like what they're really saying is like bosses that are, expletive, and or coworkers that are expletive, and I think now more than ever, those kinds of people are being kind of, put on blast by people that fall on the sword, or and I think you just gotta, for the listeners out there, my 2 cents would just be know what kind of sword you have. Like Carlton, you have a certain kind of sword. You're not gonna be the guy that's gonna be like, you're up in arms in a meeting or speaking out. Like you're gonna be the person that's gonna be going strategically to the person with the most power that you could influence to make things better, right? Like, and I think sometimes people need to understand where they can do that. So for some people, more junior people, they could say something and they go, oh my gosh, they spoke up, and everybody's gonna give them a pat on the back because they spoke up. And so I think people just gotta know kind of where you are in like the dynamics of things, and like yeah, like Carlson, like you can't just be flipping tables at your office, right? You be let go.
Thing that you just said though is that the falling on the sword, in my experience, has been being the spokesperson for
Yeah,
a group of people, and
yeah,
that is
being the
what I
spark
do,
plug. Hmm.
and that is what I do not do. I do not
Right,
speak anymore for a group of people, because even though
right,
I'm speaking for a group of people, the audience I'm speaking to only sees me. So
exactly.
now
Yeah.
what I will do is I will join a coalition
Mm,
and I will work with people to address issues in the workplace. But I will no longer be a spokesperson. I am not going anywhere by myself. I am not sending an email by myself. If we are going
yeah,
to come
yeah, yeah,
together to make this a better workplace environment for
yeah.
everyone, then we are
That's a
all
good. That's
going
a
to
good
do it.
call out. Yeah, yeah. That's a good call out
But
because
I'm not going
historically,
to
I
be the
feel
face
like
of
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. I feel like historically, people that are like the loud one or like the one that's causing ruffle and feathers,
Right,
um, that's a person that doesn't last that long at the company because they weren't a good fit. But
right.
the I think the scripts have been flipped. I think now it's the cruddy manager that's not lasting because they're people like, yo, because now a lot of companies are having like internal surveys or da 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 da, like internal interviews to see how things are going. And people are smoking people out. They're like, yo, on the low, that person's a punk. And this is why. And they're doing what this Forbes article saying, like document it, keep track of it, like have witnesses. And I think that's good, but I also, would cautiously tell people be mindful of how you do your thing, how you go about change, and how you go about impact. Because it could be like in this book, it could cause decay within the team. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's good. Shout out
Yeah.
Forbes.
So
They,
that's
they're
just
not
where
sponsoring this podcast, by the way, but
they
they
are
could.
not.
Let me know.
But they could. It's a great article. I really think I'm gonna get to a better place with, I have a little PTSD from
Yeah, I
this
mean,
particular
yeah.
company from 2 companies ago that I used to work at. But to put a pin on this, I just think people have to be clear about their role and what they're trying to do within their company. For me, where I'm at in my career, I'm grateful that I have a pop. I've been at this current job for 3 months, and my team, my peers, no issues. My boss, no issues.
Yeah.
I'm so I am a recruiter as well. I focus more so on executive recruiting in my current job. So the people
He's
that
a
I
shinier recruiter, everybody. He's a shinier recruiter. I'm just
yes,
like in the slums over here. Just
mhm. But the people, I say it to say, the people that I engage with, in my current job, we have a portfolio of people that I support in their executive recruiting work. Love working with them. I literally was like, I have no issues at work.
yeah.
Like I have no issues, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And if something was to happen, I would actively support a positive movement. I just know where I'm at. If I was working somewhere that had a negative culture, I probably wouldn't do anything about it because of my previous experience
Yeah.
trying to change culture at a workplace,
Yeah.
and it didn't end well for me
Yeah.
emotionally and mentally. So for me, I probably would not do any of these things. I probably would just make sure that they're not messing with my money or my time. See, I'm at the
Yeah.
place where I can work somewhere that may have a negative environment as long as my money and time are not being interrupted. Now, if those two things are being challenged, then I'm going to leave because where I've gotten to is work is work. So if this is a negative work environment, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm going to do my job and log off. But if you mess with my money or my time, I need my time. I need my time with my family for my schooling, the business I'm going to start. That is so important to me. So that's just kind of where I'm at with negative work environments. And
Man, we could go down the rabbit hole, but we could do that for another podcast because I kind of
yes.
disagree with that.
Oh, you disagree with that? I feel like you would because you're a good person. I'm just not. I got
You're not
things
in a
to
bad
do.
way.
And
I'm not saying like you're wrong because we're in a different time of life. I mean, well, we're in similar times of life, but I just think that negative work culture is something that people shouldn't tolerate, no matter
that's
how
true.
much you get paid.
That is true.
But
So
but
I'm
but
not
but what I'm
I'm
saying is
not
like
trying
I
to
don't know what like
contribute.
I
I'm not
don't know
trying to
what you.
contribute to the environment.
Oh
I'm
right,
just
you would
saying
never.
I don't feel obligated to
Right,
lead a coalition to address it and change it. Like I don't feel obligated to do that in the way that I did because I used to have an
right.
emotional
But
connection to where I
and
work.
and and what I'm saying is like what I because I know you. I would say, listen, all you have to do is flex your Thanos stone the best way you can to make the change for this whatever the situation is, right? But like again, maybe topic for the podcast.
Okay, cool. Yes, because we gonna go. Okay, so let's wrap this sucker up. I'm gonna go over the so this month of February we're talking about the book, The Ride of a Lifetime by Robert Iger. He is
Oh
the
yeah, that's a
former
good book.
CEO of Disney, and let's
He's gonna be
just
a
be
guest
clear,
next week. You
Disney
said
is, huh?
he's gonna be a guest on podcast, something like that.
Well,
Is
he's
that
my
what you said?
mentor in my head, so I'm speaking
Oh
that
yeah,
into
that's right. That's right.
existence.
He's your
Yeah,
mentor.
he's gonna be a guest one day, and he's also gonna mentor me for the rest of his life and my life.
That's right. That's
So
right. I love it.
this book was written from a leadership perspective. So he talks about his journey in leadership and all the things he's learned and up and down. It's a very open and honest book, and it's very like it's really good. Please listen or read it.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the quotes that I wanted to share this week. Hold on one sec.
You can put like elevator music.
So, this quote it says, "Don't start negatively, and don't start small. People will often focus on little details as a way of masking a lack of any clear, coherent, or big thoughts. If you start petty, you seem petty." Drops mic.
Just hit him with it. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one.
That is
One,
from his book. That was in his book. And I thought, okay, I'm sorry.
no, one thing that it's kind of what you were talking about earlier about like, not falling on sword and stuff. Like for me, what I've learned, and this quote kind of hit me with it, is like you just gotta know how to pick your battles. Like I used to want to fight everybody, but now it's like I know who I gotta fight, and it's not some, novice. I gotta learn how to fight the big dogs. And I used to be petty. Oh my gosh, I probably used to be so petty. But yeah, that's such a good quote. Like if you, what was the quote? Something, if you seem petty, you come off as petty, or what was it?
If you start petty, you
Yeah.
seem petty. What I
Yeah. Yeah.
think he is talking about is how when you're leading, like to me, how I took it is like how when you lead people, you shouldn't start small and you shouldn't start negative. And when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
should, what I'm assuming he's talking about is starting big, right?
Yeah.
Vision
Yeah. Yep.
and
Yep.
being clear about what you're trying to do, and then you can get into the details. But sometimes people
Yeah.
start with details, but you don't know where you're going. So
Oh,
we're
don't get me
just
started on details. Don't get me
right.
started on details, Carlton. You
And
know
then
this.
the last quote that I wanted to share is he says, at its essence, good leadership isn't about being indispensable. It's about helping others be prepared to possibly step into your shoes, giving them access to your own decision making, identifying the skills they need to develop, and helping them improve. And, as I've had to do, sometimes being honest with them about why they are not ready for the next step up.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah.
that's not happening. First of all, the first part of the quote, leaders are not preparing their people to step into their
Yeah.
shoes. They
I
are
agree.
reclusive. They don't want
I
to,
agree.
you to take their job, and you
Mm-hmm.
like they don't. That is not happening, and I've had that not happen. I've had bosses who were very, closed chest and didn't want me to
Yep.
know certain things, and were
Yeah.
fearful that I would take their job. And there's room for all of us, because if you're doing your job, like part of your job is preparing me. So if you're not preparing
Right.
me, then that makes you look bad. So I think that's the first part that I think doesn't happen, which I'm glad he highlighted. But the other part of it
Yeah.
is going back to that feedback. Leaders, some people in leadership roles
Yeah.
have a hard time being honest about, like, I know you want to be a director right now, but you're not ready.
Yeah.
Here's why you're not ready,
Right.
and here's
Yep.
what I'm willing to do to help you get ready.
Gosh, that's another podcast in and of itself too. Yes, I mean that's true. Like, and especially the times we live in, right? Like all these, younger people. Like I interview a lot of people. You do too. But the people that I might interview might not be ready yet for that director level, but they think they are. And I'm just like, you're not. Look how
But
you're
that's the thing,
talking
and
to
that's okay.
me.
But that's the thing, that we have to tell them. We
I
have to
know.
tell
Yeah,
them
that's the
why.
hard part. That's the hard part.
And also, well, you're talking about someone interviewing for a job. I'm talking about someone who's already in the job and looking for the
Internal.
next step.
Yeah,
And
even
and
that, like it's still like I don't think corporate corporately I make up things. You know what I'm trying to say. I don't think corporately in the last, I would say, 30, 40 years, that has been a thing. I think it's been more of like promotions and like next title, but not like a an exec, like someone in a position of power saying, I want to be conscious and say, listen, here's how I do my thing. And I'm sure there are people that have done that, in the past, and
right.
but those are the people that have great kind of, companies and things like that. I think it just hasn't. That take on it hasn't been the way that leaders do the thing. They're like, because people are selfish. Like this is my job, my thing, my puppy. Whereas I think that's a really cool mindset. Like I feel like, I mean, the guy I work for right now, he's like, dude, he's like, let me take my, you could take my job. I want to go do something else too. And like off the cuff, like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like I can do stuff. So,
Right.
gosh, more people
But
should,
you also have
more
a boss.
people,
You also
yeah,
have a boss that if you weren't ready for something that you thought you were ready for, he would tell
yeah,
you that.
he's already told me stuff before, Enrique, like,
But but that's the point, though. People don't do that. That's the point that I'm making
yeah,
with this
yeah,
quote, is that people in
that's
leadership
true.
roles do not, because to me, you can't just tell your employee, you can't take this role. You're not ready. You gotta tell them
Yeah.
why, and you gotta tell them
Right.
what you're going to do to help them get them there. If they're committed
That's
to doing the
true.
work, and then we're gonna
And
end
that's
on
the
that
thing.
note.
And that's the thing. Both of those
Go ahead.
sides aren't conditioned to have those mindsets.
That's true. 'Cause as an
You gotta go.
employee, you have to be ready to receive that feedback.
Yep.
So yes,
Oh,
okay,
man.
yeah, we got to go because it's gonna turn into a 2-hour podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Go ahead and subscribe. Check us out on our platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn,
Which are
Enrique Ruiz.
which is yours.
LinkedIn, Enrique Ruiz. Instagram, Leadership Matters. Check it out.
And then you can follow our podcast page, which is _conversation today. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Carlton Now. Thank you all for listening. Y'all have a great day.
It's a wrap.